.com, .app, .xyz, laying digital foundations with smart domain strategy. 1. Introduction. The internet begins with a name. Long before users engage with your product, design, or offer, they encounter your domain. It's the front door, the address, the handshake. Yet, despite its importance, domain strategy is often treated as an afterthought, a quick check to see what's available, a last-minute decision driven by convenience or impulse. But in a world where digital presence is foundational, your domain isn't just a URL. It's your digital soil. It's where your brand takes root and grows. And in an era where creators, builders, and founders often manage multiple projects, apps, and brand identities, the question isn't just which domain to buy, but why, how many, and how to make them work together. This exposition explores the strategic dimension of domain names, not just in terms of cost, but in alignment with purpose, audience, and platform intent. We'll examine how extensions like .com, .app, and .xyz serve different roles, and how to think like a domain architect when laying the digital foundations of your ecosystem. 2. The purpose of a domain. Function beyond the name. At first glance, a domain seems like a simple identifier, just a name followed by a dot and an extension. But beneath that simplicity lies a set of crucial functions that shape how users interact with your brand and how your project performs in the digital world. First, brand trust and instant recognition. When users see a .com, they instinctively associate it with credibility and permanence. There's cultural inertia behind that extension. Decades of usage have made .com the default. Even today, if someone hears about a brand but forgets the full URL, they'll try typing the brand name with .com first. Your domain is often your first impression. It can either confirm expectations, for example, yourname.com, or create curiosity or confusion, for example, yourname.xyz. Either outcome can be intentional, but it should never be accidental. Second, navigation and search optimization signaling. While search engines don't rank .com higher purely because of the extension, user behavior does. Click-through rates are higher for familiar-looking domains, which can indirectly influence search performance. Furthermore, domain names that clearly describe the product or brand can boost recall and direct traffic, especially for content or commerce platforms. Third, structural role in your platform. Your domain is more than branding. It's infrastructure. It's where your analytics anchor, where your email is routed, and where your app or content lives. When chosen wisely, it simplifies integration across services. When chosen poorly, it fragments identity and weakens retention. Think of it this way. Your domain is your command center in the digital landscape. It's the stable endpoint that every link, ad, and search result returns to. 3. Cost versus value, pricing tiers and what they imply. When it comes to domains, price tags can be deceptive. A lower annual fee doesn't necessarily mean lower value, and a higher price doesn't automatically confer prestige. What matters is alignment between cost, function, and long-term strategic utility. Understanding the tiered landscape. Here's a snapshot of current yearly prices, excluding VAT, as recently shown by FastHosts. .xyz costs £11.76. .co.uk costs £12.83. .com costs £16.92. .net costs £17.11. .app costs £26.75. At scale, these differences add up. If you're managing 5 domains for multiple products or funnels, .xyz could save you over £70 per year compared to .app. That's not trivial if you're running lean or experimenting with minimum viable products. Cost does not equal worth. .com may cost less than .app, but holds more weight in the minds of general users. .app, while more expensive, comes with built-in HTTPS enforcement, since it's owned by Google, making it secure by default. That's ideal for app-based services and user trust. .xyz is often seen in Web3, generative art, and experimental tech. Its affordability invites rapid iteration or mass acquisition, but it also risks being perceived as less serious unless positioned deliberately. Think in terms of lifetime value. What's the total cost of owning this domain over 5 to 10 years? And what return can it generate? Directly through revenue or indirectly through branding, search optimization, and user trust? For flagship projects, paying a premium for the .com might be worth it. For side projects, idea vaults, or short-term funnels, .xyz might be perfect. This is where your domain becomes less of a purchase and more of a portfolio decision. 4. Contextual fit, matching extensions to use cases. Every domain extension carries a signal about who you are, what you're building, and how seriously people should take it. Choosing the right one isn't just about cost. It's about contextual fit. When your extension aligns with your product's purpose and audience expectations, it reinforces clarity and trust. .com, universality and trust. Best for flagship brands, commercial platforms, general audiences. Perception, legacy, legitimate, the default. Why it works? Decades of cultural inertia have trained users to type .com instinctively. It's instantly credible and universally understood. Strategic use? Always try to secure the .com for your main brand if it's available, even if you don't launch with it. .app, tech-centric and secure by default. Best for web apps, mobile-first products, tools requiring login or transactions. Perception, modern, sleek, encrypted. A Google-managed domain that enforces HTTPS. Why it works? Security is mandatory. That alone sends a signal of professionalism and care, especially important for fintech, health, or productivity tools. Strategic use, perfect for MirrorTXT style apps, AI tools, personal data platforms, or digital productivity assistants. .xyz, creative, experimental, and Web3 aligned. Best for startup prototypes, generative AI projects, Web3, digital art, alternate landing pages. Perception, innovative, rebellious, affordable, popular among crypto, creator, and hacker communities. Why it works? It's a blank canvas. You define the brand tone through what you build, not what you bought. Strategic use, great for quick launches, viral experiments, or alternate brand layers. Easy to scale or discard. .co.uk, localized trust. Best for United Kingdom businesses, local services, regional branding. Perception, trusted in the UK but not global. Why it works? It signals a local presence and can help with search optimization in UK search results. Strategic use, optional unless you're selling to or building in the UK specifically. .net, legacy tech and infrastructure, best for technical products, infrastructure tools, internal systems. Perception, dated but still respected in some tech circles. Why it works? Historically associated with networking or developer tools. Strategic use, use as a backup or defensive domain, not as your primary extension. In short, the domain extension is not a vanity detail. It's part of your product's first impression. It shapes how people feel about what you're offering before they even land on the page. This content is brought to you by Bobby Gigs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. 5. Strategic layering, owning the ecosystem. As your digital presence evolves beyond a single project or landing page, your domain strategy must evolve too. No longer is it just about securing one good name. It becomes about building a layered ecosystem that supports branding, protection, marketing, and expansion. Here's how multi-domain thinking plays out in practice. First, defensive registrations. Owning multiple domain extensions, such as .com, .app, .xyz, for the same brand name helps protect your intellectual property and avoid impersonation or confusion. For example, MirrorTXT.com ensures you have the default. MirrorTXT.app could house the actual app. MirrorTXT.xyz might host experimental features, a waitlist, or AI-generated content. This reduces the risk of squatters, spoofers, or competitors capitalizing on your brand equity. Rule of thumb, if you're building something you want to last, buy the key domains before you go public. Second, redirects and funnel mapping domains don't have to sit idle. Each one can serve as a redirect to a specific feature or product tier. For example, mirrorAI.app redirecting to mirrorTXT.com/AI. A marketing funnel, such as getmirror.app used in paid ads or onboarding flows. A localization portal, for example, mirroruk.co.uk for a United Kingdom audience. You're not just buying names, you're designing entry points. Third, future product or brand expansion. If you envision MirrorTXT evolving into a broader suite, for example, Mirror Vault, Mirror Coach, or Mirror Loop, it's worth capturing those names early, even if you don't build them right away. That's what big players do. Google didn't need .app when they bought the entire extension. They anticipated the future. For you, strategic layering might mean buying related keywords or alternative phrasing, locking in potential spin-off brands, securing short domains, for example, MirrorTXT.app for mobile access or internal tools. A strong domain strategy isn't static. It's a living map of your digital territory. Owning key points on that map gives you control over how users experience your ecosystem now and how it scales in the future. 6. Case study. MirrorTXT and the domain map. Let's apply everything so far to a real-world example. MirrorTXT. This is your flagship concept that blends artificial intelligence, personal identity, and performance coaching into a dynamic personal tool. It's not just a product, it's a platform, and platforms deserve domain maps, not just a domain name. The root. MirrorTXT.com. This is the anchor domain, the authoritative source that holds your brand equity. Use case, a public-facing homepage, trust layer, and search engine authority. Rationale. .com is the default people will type or expect. If they're referred to MirrorTXT in a podcast or a YouTube comment, they'll try .com instinctively. Action. Even if other extensions become primary, always own and redirect the .com. The app layer. MirrorTXT.app. This domain has both functional and psychological utility. Functionally, it enforces HTTPS, making it perfect for an AI-powered tool that may handle private telemetry or sensitive user data. Psychologically, it signals tech savviness and modern design. It tells users this is a product, not just a brand. Use case hosts the main user interface, especially for mobile-first or desktop web applications. The sandbox, MirrorTXT.xyz. This is your playground. Use case, a test bed for generative AI demos, early access signups, or experimental features, for example, a dream analyzer or creative writing AI. Brand angle. .xyz is popular among forward-looking builders, Web3 audiences, and experimental communities. It whispers, this is cutting edge. Tactical move. Use it for soft launches, viral experiments, or lightweight campaign pages. You can afford to test fast here without diluting the main brand. Optional domains, mirrortxt.co.uk or mrtx.app. These can serve regional funnels, such as GDPR-compliant user segments or local marketing, short-form redirections, especially for QR codes or mobile campaigns, internal use, like developer environments, staging, or protected beta access. Putting it together, each domain has a role, and more importantly, each one says something. Here's a simple breakdown. MirrorTXT.com represents trust and the public face. It says, this is the brand. MirrorTXT.app represents the core product. It says, this is the tool you use. MirrorTXT.xyz represents innovation. It says, see what's coming next. MirrorTXT.co.uk represents regional access. It says, we're local too. MRTX.app represents convenience. It says, fast access, easy recall. This case study isn't just about MirrorTXT. It's a template for thinking in layers, naming the infrastructure that supports not just where your brand is today, but where it's going. 7. Principles for long-term domain strategy. A domain isn't just a name you register, it's a strategic asset. And just like with real estate, it matters where you buy, what you build, and how future-proof that foundation is. As your digital footprint grows, your domain strategy should be guided by a few enduring principles. First, think in systems, not single points. Don't just ask, what's my main domain? Instead, ask, what is this domain anchoring? What other domains might feed into it, surround it, defend it, or break it out into new verticals? A thoughtful domain map can support multi-product ecosystems, funnel segmentation, regional or language-specific access, defensive positioning against competitors or impersonators. Owning a system of domains allows your brand to breathe, expand, and evolve without fragmentation. Second, build for today, name for tomorrow. You don't have to use every domain immediately, but smart founders name the future early, before competitors, squatters, or market shifts catch up. Consider buying domains for ideas still in research and development, grabbing short-form variants, like acronyms or alternate spellings, locking in future brand pivots or product lines. This isn't speculative hoarding, it's strategic naming of your digital frontier. Third, signal with clarity, not confusion. Each extension you choose sends a signal. The question is whether that signal is intentional. .com says, trust me. .app says, use me. .xyz says, experiment with me. .co.uk says, I'm local. Use those signals to match the function of each domain, not just for style, but to guide user behavior and expectations. Fourth, think in decades, not deals. Most domains cost less than a night out, but the right one can anchor a business for 10 years or more. Ask yourself, is this name easy to say, spell, and remember? Does it scale across multiple products or regions? Does it feel like a destination, not just a placeholder? Domains that meet these criteria are worth holding, even if they don't pay off right away. They are preemptive infrastructure, quiet assets that become obvious in hindsight. Wrapping it up now with 8. Conclusion. In the rush to build, launch, and grow online, domain names often get treated like an afterthought, just a checkbox on a to-do list. But as we've explored, your domain is much more than a digital address. It's infrastructure, identity, and intent, all encoded in a few characters. Whether you're claiming a .com to anchor long-term brand trust, using .app to launch a secure and elegant user tool, or deploying .xyz for rapid experimentation, every domain decision is a signal, both to your users and to your future self. In a multi-project world where creators wear many hats and platforms evolve fast, the most resilient builders treat domains like architects treat blueprints, as foundational design choices, not arbitrary details. So the next time you're naming a project, launching a tool, or securing your next big idea, don't just ask what's available. Ask, what role will this domain play in my ecosystem? What will this name say, instantly and silently, to those who see it? Am I building with intention or defaulting to convenience? Because the truth is, in the digital world, your domain is your first layer of real estate, and what you build on it will only be as solid as the ground you claim.